Do not start a fragrance YouTube channel until you've watched this video. And even if you have a fragrance YouTube channel, this is definitely a must watch.
I guess I really don't know what Christmas is all about. Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas...
Oh hi! Welcome to my channel. It's Freakmas! I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas.
Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you.
My people, welcome back to the channel. And if you're not already subscribed, don't worry, I'm not doing the rest of the intro. I told you after Vlogmas. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and become part of the family. In today's video, I will be talking about financial privilege within fragrances. How much is too much for perfumes, and how much do you need to start a fragrance YouTube channel? I know there are loads of people who watch fragrance reviews, fragrance YouTube channels. I consume a lot of fragrance content myself, and sometimes I sit and I think, oh my goodness, like how much does it cost to start a fragrance YouTube channel? If that's something you're interested in, without further ado, let's get right into the video.
I'm ready for it.
Now, having run a fragrance YouTube channel for about 10 months myself, I can tell you for free that it takes or requires a certain level of financial privilege to start or run a fragrance YouTube channel. Argue with your keypad. For the ones that will say, oh, give us numbers, give us facts and figures, why would you say that? Why would you say you have to have a certain amount of money to start? Hold on, I'll give you a few facts and figures. Number one, the average price of a perfume bottle is around $100 average for a designer perfume. Let me even be specific. Designer perfume average $100, if not $150. Number two, there are niche fragrances that cost anywhere from $2,000 even up to $12,000. If you do not believe me, Google Clive Christian. He released a fragrance in 2001 that cost $2,000. I don't own the perfume, by the way. Three, the actual liquid in a perfume bottle that costs $150 is not up to 2% of the cost of that perfume. Now, in layman's terms, basically what I'm trying to say is that if a perfume costs $150, the liquid in that bottle only costs $3. Guys, $3 to $150. I know some of you might ask, so what is the cost, or what are the other costs? I mean, there's packaging, we can go into all of that, but you know, we'll skip that bit. At this point, we can all agree that fragrance is an expensive hobby. There are loads of expensive fragrances. Expensive fragrance is basically boku. Let me say like in Nigerian. And what that basically means is that expensive fragrances are plenty, but justifying the prices of those fragrances will be hard work. So let's make this a bit personal. I recently purchased a bottle of Louis Vuitton Attrape Rêve, a Louis Vuitton perfume. This bottle arrived and it literally smelled like Mon Paris by YSL. I'm nothing against Mon Paris by YSL, but Mon Paris by YSL cost around 50 pounds. And the fact that I had just spent around 250 pounds for a perfume that smells exactly like a 50 pounds perfume, I could not cry. Which brings me to my next point, that perfumes are about creativity. Perfumes are about the experience. In fact, perfumes do not necessarily have any utility value. I said it. Yes, I said it. Because unlike other luxury products, so for example, like a luxury car, it takes you from one place to the other. A luxury bag, you can use it to hold your items. You know, these things actually have a use. Perfumes, on the other hand, people do not use perfumes for hygienic reasons, because best believe soap can do the same job. The fragrance has nothing else to give you but just a good smell. The value of perfumes is purely experiential. You spray it, you smell it, you enjoy it. It's almost like air. It's like music. You can't hold it. Unlike other luxury products that when you drive a car, everyone knows you're driving a Lamborghini, or you hold a bag, people know that's an Hermes bag you're holding. When you spray a perfume, it's not... the logo does not come on your body, so people can't necessarily tell that, oh, you've just sprayed a $2,000 perfume or if you've sprayed a $50 perfume. How much is too much for perfumes, you ask? Well, To answer that question, I will be using 3 approaches. Number 1, the butcher's approach, and that is basically the cost approach. So you look at how much of the ingredients went into a perfume versus how much it's selling for. I strongly advise against this method because it will never add up. Accountants might want to use this method, but it will never add up. If you use the cost approach, you will never buy perfumes because the cost versus the price are miles. There's a lot of margin. The second approach is the car dealer's approach, which is more like the benchmarking approach, where you compare fragrances. So if a designer, a brand is coming out with a perfume with a certain size, you just compare it to another designer brand and see, okay, all right, you know, there are always the outliers, but it's basically the comparison approach, and you can use that to know if, you know, a perfume is too much or is within the range, you know, of its competitors. The third approach is the philosopher's approach. Basically what this is valuing fragrances from the perspective of how much happiness they bring you, how they make you feel. You can't really quantify that. That's not something you can put money on. You know, some people say that there's nothing that is too expensive for their happiness. And if we take that back to another luxury product like a car, for example, I mean, some people will drive the Lamborghini Huracan, some people buy, you know, the best of the latest Teslas, and whilst we will all try to justify and say, no, we're buying it for this reason because, oh, it's petrol efficient or fuel efficient and all of that stuff. At the end of the day, it's about how these products make you feel, because a Honda Civic can get you from place A to B just the same way a luxury car can. It's more about experience with this one. How much value do you place on your personal enjoyment? If fragrances bring you enjoyment, then no amount is too much. No amount is too much to spend on those fragrances. All of these things I'm saying, what am I trying to say, and what does this mean for a fragrance YouTube channel? Number 1, when it comes to fragrance YouTube channels, it is very difficult to start with what you have, because a lot of YouTube videos will tell you, oh, start with what you have if you want to start a YouTube channel. Start with your phone, start with this, start with that. But when it comes to fragrance YouTube, it's a luxury. For lack of better words, it's a show and tell. You have to hold the fragrance, show people what you're talking about, smell it, you know, it's about all that effect. And you have to be able to smell these perfumes to be able to talk about them. So unfortunately, it's a bit difficult to start with what you have. Now, I had a subscriber drop a comment in one of my videos. If I can find the comment, I'll put it on the screen. And she was talking about how there was a girl who used to talk about, you know, fragrance samples. She just used to use her fragrance samples to talk about the fragrances, you know. And people were not very forthcoming, and she eventually had to close her YouTube channel. So unfortunately, when it comes to fragrance YouTube, it's just one of those niches that it's very difficult to just start with what you have. So yeah, as hard as that is to hear, yeah. Number 2, it will take the highest form of self-control to not accumulate perfume bottles that you do not like. I'm telling you, once you start fragrance YouTube, you just keep buying and buying and buying. Some of the fragrances you buy to just review. So it's almost going to take the highest form of self-control in the world not to accumulate fragrance bottles. When I started my fragrance YouTube channel, I know how many bottles of perfume I had, and I know how many bottles of perfume I'm on today. 3, if you start a fragrance YouTube channel, don't bother trying to explain to people when they ask you why you have so many fragrances, because you would literally turn blue in the face trying to convince people as to why you own this many bottles or why you own so many bottles of perfume. So don't even bother. Don't just even start that argument with people as to why you own the number of perfume bottles that you own. 4, the annoying thing with fragrance as a hobby is that unlike other luxuries that people can easily identify you by the brand or by the logo, when you wear perfume, nobody can tell if you're wearing Xerjoff or if you're wearing Ariana Grande or if you're wearing Maison Francis Kurkdjian. There's not really a way. So it's just one of those luxuries that, to be very honest, is for personal enjoyment. 5, fragrance YouTube is hard and the competition is stiff. And whilst I do not encourage you to compare yourself to others, most fragrance YouTube channels have the same viewers. All you need to do is to go into analytics and it will tell you all that you need to know. 6, some people might stone me for this one, but when you start a fragrance YouTube channel, you almost have to view it as a very long, and I can keep saying that, long term investment. It may not pay off immediately. It pays off immediately for some, but it's a long game. And that's because when you look at the cost of filming, the amount of money you invest in buying perfumes, the time you put into creating a fragrance YouTube channel versus the reward, they don't match up. In fact, it almost starts to look like you're doing voluntary work, like you're volunteering for YouTube. So you have to view it as a very long-term investment for you to be able to start and stick with it. Finally, just because you're being asked to pay ridiculous amounts of money for perfume or a certain amount of money for perfume, you don't have to part with that money. You know, nobody is with a gun to your head to buy anything. If you know that it's not giving you joy, it's not bringing value in any way, in terms of the cost benefits, it's not matching up, or in terms of when you compare it to other perfumes, it's not matching up, and it doesn't bring any value to your life, it doesn't give you any happiness, I strongly would say do not bother purchasing it. Go ahead and let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are. How much is too much for perfumes? You know, how are you finding your fragrance YouTube channel? I know some of you expected me to put numbers, but it'll be difficult to put numbers. I've told you how to go about it. The cost approach, the comparison approach, that is benchmarking the perfumes against other perfumes, and finally the value it brings to you in terms of experience and happiness. Those are the three ways to know or to measure it. So I leave it with you to know what that amount is for yourself. Go ahead and do all of that good stuff, guys. Like, share, and subscribe. Guys, please like, please share, please subscribe. And until I see you again in my next video, because I look forward to seeing you again in my next video. Stay beautiful, stay blessed. Hi and bye. Oh God, what is happening to me today? Having done this,
Merry Christmas.
That's what Christmas